Hey everyone, welcome to Worldwide Railroad. My name is Derek, and thanks for joining me today to review the Lionel 2023 Volume 1 catalog. Forgive me, I am taking a cough drop right now, and I might have to clear my throat as we go through all this. I am struggling with a little bit of something. I got a couple little kids in daycare, so they bring home everything. So it's always a challenge keeping up with that. But I'm looking forward to this catalog. It's massive. They've included a lot in here, probably more than any other catalog before. I think they've really shown that they are listening to the different types of audiences that are out there in the model train world. They are trying to hit a lot of different demographics and customer segments, and they are, I think, doing it quite well. I've had a chance to look through this catalog briefly today. I think there's a lot in there for everyone. And there's definitely some things that are interesting and some things that are maybe a little bit worrisome. But I think overall this is an amazing catalog, and this is going to be a great time. But it is going to be a sit getting through all of this. So I do recommend that you grab some water or something that with your favorite beverage and something to eat, because this is going to be a while getting through all this. That said, I am going to try and keep it quick as I go through each item here in the catalog. I don't want to make this take forever. I don't know if my voice can hold out forever if I were to go that in detail on all of this. So we'll see how it goes. That said, what I'm gonna be trying to do with each product is look at the pricing, look at the features, and talk about who I think this is aimed at. And do I find it interesting to myself, or is it something that I would pass on? Now, obviously, there's no way I could order all the things that I would want in this catalog or even would consider because of the price range, right? The Lionel products are not cheap, especially the scale models with all the features that they are adding now. But that said, definitely gonna talk about like what I think would be interesting. Love to hear your comments and thoughts in the comment section here. Please be sure to like and subscribe to the channel as well. It really helps, and I greatly appreciate it. So without further ado, let's jump into the catalog here. We saw this cover released a few days ago, and we immediately knew this was going to be a heavy hitter catalog. People have been clamoring for the Dreyfuss Hudson for years now. It's been, I think I said 2 decades since Lionel last released one. It's been almost 10 years since MTH last released their Dreyfuss Hudson. The Dreyfuss Hudson's a beautiful model. I actually was really lucky last year at an auction online and was able to pick up a Proto Sound 2 one from MTH for about $375 with the passenger tender, and it was basically new in box, which is amazing. And the big boys, we knew about this last fall when Lionel announced it, so no surprise there. So we'll jump in. Obviously, the first thing up is going to be the Vision Line Big Boy, and they've put a lot of effort and work into this. I think it's going to be very amazing. There was a lot of guesstimates about what the pricing would be for this. A lot of folks were saying it was going to be over $3,000. Now that said, they did manage to come in under $3,000. Granted, $2,900 is still pretty close. But that said, if you pre-order this from any of your dealers that you're looking at, I'm already seeing dealers cutting the price on this for pre-orders by anywhere from $2 to $3, even some I think I've heard maybe possibly up to $400 off these engines. So definitely an engine you're going to want to put a pre-order in for if you don't want to be paying MSRP on. So let's take a quick look at the features. I think the big new ones are really the pop-off steam effect, the 4-digit addressing, which really is if you have a lot of engines and you need to worry about that. And the force coupler is the new one. Now, the depleting coal load was something that was in the original Vision Line Big Boy. So then they brought that back as well here. And of course, you've got the bells and the whistles that come with this as well. Now you'll see that the 4014, the Excursion Line one, is only $2,800 as opposed to the coal ones that are $2,900, and that's because of the depleting coal load, right? The 4014 Restoration Big Boy is oil burning, so it's not going to have a coal tender and not going to have that depleting coal load. I think the price is probably about right there. When you look at what the original Vision Line Big Boy ran for at MSRP, I think it was around $2,500, and that was back in 2014. So it's been 9 years roughly since then. As everyone keeps talking about, there's been inflation since then, and they've also added more features to these big boys since then. We have the pop-off steam, we have the force coupler, so there was no way that this was going to get cheaper. I think it's probably pretty good for folks who are interested in a big boy that they were able to keep it below $3,000, considering the addition of features and the increase in costs since the first run of the Vision Line Big Boys. So as you can see here, there's the 4014 oil burning, and then you've got a few different numbers for the coal burning big boys here. And then if we jump over to this next page, there's 4019 with the smoke deflectors, which if I saw correctly or heard correctly, those are magnetic, so they can be quickly and easily attached and detached from the engine. So something certainly to keep in mind if you're someone who's like hemming and hawing, do I want the smoke deflectors, do I not want the smoke deflectors? Well, you can easily get the 4019 if they are magnetic like that, and just pop them off if you don't feel like seeing them on the engine for the time, and pop them back on if you do want to get the engine. So I think 4019 will be one of the more popular ones because of those smoke deflectors. You then have the 4023, and then you've got a couple Greyhound schemes, one with the smoke deflectors as well. Given what we've seen with fantasy schemes over the past few years, I do think that the Greyhound schemes will also be quite popular. We've seen fantasy schemes with these large articulated engines sort of get hem and hawed. Is it that good? But then they come out, people see them, everyone loves them. Not everyone, but a lot of folks love them, and they wind up going up in price. So if you're hemming and hawing over it, probably easier to pick up the fantasy scheme now. And then if you want to trade with someone who doesn't have it, or sell it and buy a non-fantasy scheme later down the road, probably easier to do it that way. Just my 2 cents from what I've seen. And of course, we are getting the Excursion passenger cars with this. We've got the Union Pacific Station Sounds Diner. You've got the Excursion 2-pack, as well as the 4-pack. Now, obviously, if you're picking up this engine, you're already dropping a lot of cash. And some of these passenger cars, especially like the Diner, the Station Sounds car, and the 2-pack, they are not cheap on a per car basis, right? That Diner car is $400. Again, if you're pre-ordering, you're gonna save yourself money. So I highly recommend going to your local hobby shop, talking to them, asking them, hey, what's your pre-order situation? My local hobby shop, Toy Trains and Collectibles in Manassas, Virginia, they let you do a pre-order with no money down. So it's quite great there. You don't have to worry about that. I know a lot of others are the same way. They let you do a pre-order with either no money down or like 10% down. So considering it gives you the time to think about it, and you can also, even if you put the pre-order in, here's the thing, these are gonna be desirable and sought after engines. So let's say it comes around, you either don't have the money or you've changed your mind since when you pre-ordered it. I think you can simply just pick it up and sell it. And you may even be able to sell it for more than the pre-order price. So you might be able to get a bit of extra cash when you do sell it. So something to keep in mind as well there. These engines look beautiful. I think the effects are wonderful. I love the big boy. I do have an original Vision Line one, actually that I picked up not too long ago at an amazing price. It was another one of those engines that's someone kept it in a collection. It was never touched. It basically sat in the box the entire time, so it's great. And I did pick up the MTH PS344 Restoration Big Boy. So that's also great. I mean, I have those two. I don't really see a need for a third one. But would I like a third one? I mean, yeah, sure. I'd love 4019 with the smoke deflectors. I'm not gonna lie. But probably not necessary, or not necessary at all, really. With the Excursion passenger cars, I would certainly love to pick these up. But again, they're going to be competing with something else in this catalog that you'll be seeing soon. So I'm not sure if these will wind up getting picked up, though we'll see. Definitely great cars though. After that, you've got the Vision Line Big Boy Superset. This is pretty awesome, right? It really sets you up and gets you going right away with an entire set. You've got the Big Boy, and then you've got Vision Line caboose, and you've got Vision Line reefer cars and Vision Line cattle cars, and I think a Freight Sounds boxcar as well. So this is a train that is going to put out a ton of sound, a ton of effects on your layout. This is like the one and done, you know, you've got the full effect and feel of being there on the train when it was pulling freight back in the 40s and into I think the early 50s. So this will be a wonderful set. It is expensive, right? $4,500 is not small change at all. I have seen that these are being sold for pre-order prices somewhere between $3,900 and $4,000. So certainly a discount there of around 10% for those. I think the Vision Line cabooses are awesome. I think the Vision Line cars the freight cars are quite awesome. I don't own any Vision Line freight cars at this time. They're cool. I've seen them run. I think they sound great. I'm still out on the jury for them, mostly because when you've got 2, 3, or more trains running, I mean, you will still hear the Vision Line freight car sounds, but there's just so much noise going on. I'm not sure how, I don't find it as impactful. That said, I know there are other people who find it impactful and love it. So definitely worth looking at if you're interested. Now, one of the things that is strange though, like I know some folks have done the math and they've said that if you pick up all of these sets separately and the engine, it actually comes out to, I think it's like $100 cheaper than this whole set. So that's a bit strange. Wondering why that's the case. I definitely want to take a look into that and see if that's the case. Strange that usually when you pick up a set with Lionel, you're getting it at a discount from what if you were to buy it a la carte. So strange about that. Again, these are the premier engines. It's the Vision Line cars. It's the Vision Line Big Boy. These prices are going to be expensive. This is not for the faint of heart. This is for the serious collectors and serious hobbyists who have large layouts and want to show off serious steam power and freight trains. So here are the Vision Line cars, some of which you just saw in that Big Boy set. You've got the Grand Canyon line, or not the Grand Canyon, but the Santa Fe with the Grand Canyon line and Super Chief, etc. there. You've then got the Fruit Grovers, the refrigerator cars, and then you've got the Pacific Fruit Express as well. These are great looking cars. They are beautiful. And again, they sound great. They look good. They run, I mean, I've seen them run. They're smooth rollers. Fantastic cars. Just the question becomes again, what do you need and what do you want out of your trains and out of your layout? Because it's $500 for a pack of 3 cars, and you can certainly get more cars for that money if you forgo the Vision Line features. So at the end of the day, it's just a matter of what are you looking for? What do you value more? Do you value more cars so that you have more options / longer trains, especially if you're working on a budget? Or do you want the sounds and effects for that realism and that immersion feel when you're running the train on the layout? So, okay. And then again, more Vision Line cars. So this time we've got more stock cars. So these ones this time are, what are they making for sounds this time? I think it's chickens is what I heard. So let's see, quilling, oh no, they're sheep. So there'll be sheep this time. So we've had pigs, we've had horses, we've had cows for Vision Line cars. Now we've got sheep for cars. So, you know, I hope this car makes it fantastic for your layout. Again, these are beautiful cars. A lot of detail, and they'll sound great. I look at these cars and I'm always like, ooh, do I want that? Do I want the sounds? And then I go back down to my layout and I'm running 2 or 3 trains at once. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna really hear the sounds and enjoy it that much. But again, that's me. And you know, if I had the cars, I'd certainly run them. Like absolutely would run them at all times. So they're great cars, and I think they will be fun for anyone who wants that sound and those effects. All right, so that is the Vision Line stuff. Now moving on to the Legacy. So we knew this was coming, the Dreyfuss Hudson, and we are getting one heck of a Dreyfuss Hudson here. The detail is obviously amazing looking from these photos here. And we are getting a ton of effects. I think based on having gone through this catalog earlier, that the new norm is going to be on almost all steam engines is whistle steam. That seems to be has become the new default for legacy steam engines is whistle steam, which is cool, right? The whistle steam is very neat to see. I will say though, like in terms of pricing, by adding features like whistle steam, etc., to all the steam engines, it is going to increase the price for all of them. And not everyone necessarily wants that or cares for the whistle steam, or like, plenty of people just want the engine to run. And so I will say this does lead me into one of my concerns that I want to just bring up briefly here about the catalog and the direction of which the legacy engines are going. Is just because you can add features, I don't know if it necessarily isn't a good idea to add all the features to all the engines. Or I think it would be great if when Lionel offers these, if they would offer a version of them that doesn't necessarily have all the bells and whistles, that can come in at a lower price. So if you're someone who really wants a Dreyfuss Hudson legacy steam engine, you can get it, you can get that engine, but that said, you don't have to pay, $1,700 for it, or $1,800 if you're looking at the passenger tender, right? You cut out, like, say, whistle steam and another a feature or something like that, then instead of being, say, $1,800 or $1,700, it would be $1,600 or $1,500 or something. Even another $50 or $100 less. Something to help the folks who aren't necessarily interested in all of these extra steam features, but still would really like to buy this engine. Okay, so I'm gonna get off that soapbox for now, and we'll get back to this. The Dreyfuss Hudson looks beautiful. We have obviously got the ones with the typical tender with the 2 6-wheel trucks, and then we've got the passenger tenders. The passenger tenders are these longer ones here. I think with the water scoop steam effect, these are just, we saw this with the Vision Line Niagara. These are going to be amazing. I really, even though I got that PS2 one, like getting the water scoop effect is amazing. I really do want one of these, but we'll see. But yeah, the engines look beautiful. The whistle steam, the smoke output from these, everything, they're going to be simply beautiful engines. Now, do keep in mind, if you get the passenger tender, you're going to be on an 072 minimum curve, and they're not joking about that. That tender will not take less than 072, I promise you. So you jump over to the next page. They do have the full set with the original blue stripe outline on this, and this set, or not, well, it's not a set, but this engine and the passenger cars that can come with it, they all look absolutely beautiful. I think this is going to be one of the most sought after and desired sets from this catalog. People have been asking for this for years. We're getting 21-inch length passenger cars, and the features and the details that are going to come with these cars are going to be simply beautiful. I will say the only thing that I'm a little disappointed with is that there's only this version with the blue outline stripe in this tender and not the passenger tender. If we go back here, you'll see that the passenger tender here and here and here, they don't have the blue stripe line. So I'm a little bummed about that, because I really would prefer a passenger tender with that cool water scoop effect and the blue stripe, but you can't get everything, I guess, right? But we may also get a custom run from Mr. Muffins or someone who might do that, so we'll see. These passenger cars look beautiful. With the kinematic couplers, I think we're going to get much closer diaphragm in terms of when the cars are going around corners, etc., which is going to add to that realism and that beautiful look. You've got the double dyno car pack for all the sounds and effects of with the Vision Line cars that you hear. They are an expensive pack. Don't get me wrong, $650, that's a lot. You're looking at $325 a car. So that's a lot you're gonna have to throw down for that. And then you've got the 2-pack for $450, and then you've got the 4-pack for $950. So, you know, just alone looking at the passenger cars, right, that's going to cost you a little over north of $2,000 if you want the passenger cars. And then if you want one of these engines, that's, you know, you're looking at 17 or 1800 depending on the type of tender you pick. So again, doing those pre-orders is going to be important and matter. I think the pricing, I mean, from what we've seen lately with the 21-inch passenger cars, the pricing seems to be about on point. I think it's a bit expensive still for a passenger car, even with like the rail sounds and all that. But that's where things are at with Lionel. Again, like the 4-pack is really your best value in terms of dollars per car. But even still, you're looking at a little over 200 per car. So that's a lot for a passenger car. But that seems to be where things are going today with like the scale large passenger cars, and they are 21-inch passenger cars. So you do need to keep that in mind. These are not small, they are large. That said, also the cars, you know, they can ride on 054. So they look great. I think these are going to be absolutely beautiful and stunning. I think if you are on the fence about this set, we're not going to get this again anytime soon. So you better pick it up quick, or you're not quick, but you better seriously think about, like, can you wait? Are you willing to wait if you don't pick it up now? Okay. So the next thing that we have is the Russian Decapod. There's been a lot of folks clamoring for this, especially with 90, for the Strasbourg 90. That is set to come out finally this March. These look beautiful, but again, they are a little bit more affordable than the Dreyfus Hudsons. They are $1,300, and again, you know, remember, every time when I'm talking MSRP, there's usually you can get it for at least 10% less if you pre-order. So $1,300, that's a good price these days for a legacy steam engine, especially legacy steam engine that's going to have it's new toolings, it's going to have smoke and the rail sounds, etc. And it has a swinging bell, right? So this one doesn't have whistle steam, but it does have the swinging bell on a lot of them. So on the ones with the swing, you know, it's another feature that I think most steam engines will either have whistle steam or swinging bell or both, if they're legacy. So, and then I will also say, and you know, you can see here, like the Frisco 1630, it does not have the swinging bell. It also doesn't have the whistle steam. But the price is also still the same. It's $1,300, like it is with those that have the swinging bell, which I am a little bit surprised by. I guess maybe for Lionel, like the cost difference of having the swinging bell there or not isn't very big. But I would imagine it's something. And, you know, you could certainly, I don't know, it's the kind of thing I would think you would cut customers a little bit of slack in terms of price when you don't have a feature like swinging bell on one, but you do on the other. But that's me. So, you know, that's just how I see it. The tooling looks great. These look beautiful. None of these railroads are like major sticking points to it. It's not like I'm modeling or like have existing rolling stock or engines in any of these. That said, if I were pressed to pick one for myself, I'd probably be the Philadelphia and Reading, because I'm originally from right outside of Philadelphia on the Jersey side. And, you know, so I'd be going with that. I also love the headlight on this one, so that would be where I'd go. Moving on, we've got the, whatchamacallit, it's the I-10, I think it is, yeah. And these look wonderful as well. The I-1, sorry, not I-10. I keep thinking 10 because of the drivers. But these are great if you're a Pennsylvania fan, which is actually what I am. I'm a big Pennsylvania Railroad fan, and these engines look wonderful. They've got whistle steam as well, and they are $1,500. So again, this is where legacy steam engines are going. I am a little surprised though too that they are all $1,500. For example, you've got this version with the shorter tender, and then you've got the super long haul tender behind these engines. I would have imagined that differences in size, I mean, we've seen this before. Lionel has has made the cost less for the same engine, but with shorter, like, you know, less complicated tenders. So it would be nice to see them give like a break for customers who want legacy scale steam engines and are picking versions that have less to them than their counterparts. So maybe we'll see that in the future. I certainly hope so. It'd be great to see. That said, these are 1500. They look great. I'm sure they'll sound great. And again, this is all new product. So I think Lionel has sort of like, they seem to have put in a lot of effort and a lot of resources to getting some new tooling and updating other tooling that they had to put these out. This is what I'm actually really excited for. I think this page is awesome. The 484s, these are massive, like massive steam engines that look beautiful. Again, these ones have whistle steam. And we've got a lot of different paint schemes to pick from with these from the Santa Fe. I think the one that really pops out to me the most is the Blue Goose. I know there are going to be plenty of people that look at it and just turn their nose up at it and they're going to not like it. But the Blue Goose, if anyone recalls, you know, the Streamline Blue Goose Hudson that MTH put out years ago, you know, a lot of people didn't pick it up then, or the passenger cars, and they've now come to regret it, and finding it is near impossible. And if you do find it, you are going to pay through the nose for it. And I think that this Santa Fe Blue Goose will also be the same case. Now, I am wondering if the drivers are going to actually be black or if they'll be blue. I would love for it to be blue. This is definitely one of those engines I want. And I'm going to seriously consider pre-ordering. The 1800 price tag is a lot, but you're not going to get the Blue Goose paint scheme regularly on anything. And you know, you're not, when's it's going to come back? You're not going to see it come back anytime soon. And the Blue Goose paint scheme is going to be one of those ones you either pre-ordered it or you didn't. And if you didn't, you're going to pay through the nose for it. The Camelbacks, Lionel, the Camelbacks just seem to keep getting better. Lionel did not expect them to be such a hit with the community, but the Camelbacks are great for the folks who love scale modeling, but do not have the space for the larger engines that we've been covering just now, right? These can handle the 031 curves. And I think when the first Legacy Camelback came out 2 years ago in the 2020 catalog, it didn't even have whistle steam. So the Camelbacks continue to get more and more features, and I think those ones were only $650. So we've only gone up by $50 considering everything, like all the challenges that have happened since the 2020 catalog was printed. And remember, that was right before / when COVID was coming out and before the supply chains and everything else got snarled. So considering these went up only by 50 and everything that happened, and they've also gained whistle steam because I don't think they had that before, that's really something. I think in terms of, it's a great engine. It runs, I've heard it runs well. I've seen it run well in videos of people reviewing it. It's now got whistle steam. We've got some new road names here, which look great, especially I think the Atlantic City Railroad. I think that's going to be another very popular one. I'm not sure if that was ever a real scheme. I don't think it was, but it looks great. And if it looks, you know, as good, if not better than the rendering here in the catalog, it'll be a popular one that people are searching for afterwards. And then of course, I mean, the other railroad names here are also going to be popular. These are big names that people have known and a lot of people collect. And I think the Erie will look really good too, especially if you're someone who has the 0880 or the Erie Triplex. I think this engine will feel very like at home if you have all three of those lined up. Now those engines were from MTH, but again, I think this will be a lot of fun. So again, I think this is a real hit of an engine. I'm glad to see Lionel putting out legacy scale steam engines that are smaller for folks who have smaller layouts, who cannot put 060, 072 curves, or even say 054, and who would love, like, you know, some of these more advanced features like whistle steam and all that. So I think these will be another great seller and continue to do well. So that takes us out of steam and into diesel. The E8s. Now I'm hearing, but I'm not sure if it's true, that these are the MTH tooling E8s. If so, you know, I have an ABA PS2 E8 set, and they're from Milwaukee Road. They're fantastic. They look great. They run great as well. So I'm sure these will be fantastic as well, especially with the updates that Lionel will have put into them. along with the legacy sounds. The New York Central scheme, I think, is definitely eye-catching, and it will probably be another one of those, I wish I had gotten it for a lot of folks. So definitely one to keep an eye on and definitely seriously consider. And of course, we've got Amtrak, Southern Pacific. These all look fantastic. I think people will, these are going to run great and sound great. So looking forward to these. I feel for diesels, especially because there's less features and a lot less complication in terms of like you don't have all the driver rods and everything else that go into steam engines. The 1200's, it's steep. It's steep, I think, for diesels like this. Even if they are both powered units, which I think they are. Let's see, are they both powered units? Front electrocouplers, metal roofs, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I mean, I think they're both powered, standard legacy diesel features. Oh yeah, both units are powered. They're both powered. But yeah, I still think like, even if you want to like split that in half, right? For 1200 is 600 per like one of these diesels. To me, that's still, that's much, that's a lot. I think that's a bit too much. And these operate again on the smaller curves, which are also probably for the collectors / hobbyists who may have a smaller budget / smaller space. I think Lionel, it would be nice to see some of these diesels for a bit less. Again, I don't know what the hard costs are for all of this, but that's my 2 cents. And of course, it turns out that we've also got the Aberdeen, Carolina, and Western scheme, which it has been confirmed that they did pick up at least one, if not two E8s, and they are painting them in this scheme. There's been a lot of hype, especially I think around because of this paint scheme and because they are actually like actively being used and run on this railroad. So definitely a set to pick up. I think a lot of folks are going to, I think this is another set where if you sleep on it, you're going to miss out and you're going to wish you hadn't. And I think the dome car, again, like the Super Dome or the long dome cars like this, these are gorgeous. I have ones from Milwaukee, from MTH, from way back. Don't sleep on the dome car. The dome car is always beautiful. And it's very eye-catching in this paint scheme, so I highly recommend it if you are the type of person who wants, if you're the type of person who's going to be picking up these engines anyway, like that's the car to pick up, in my opinion. And obviously the 2-pack would be nice as well, but that dome car, like that's what's going to catch people's eyes. And so that's my 2 cents on that. Again, the cars are $650, right? They are station sound diner pack cars. So you're going to get the full sound effect and everything with them, but they are $650. So again, I definitely understand where Lionel's coming from, right? Like no serious hobby is cheap. But that said, like, if you want to get the diesels and you want to get the passenger cars that come with them and not be trying to hunt them all down later, then you've got to fork over a lot all at one time, if it all drops at one time, right? We pre-order all this, but it doesn't necessarily drop it all at one time. I mean, the Strasbourg stuff that came out in 2020, we've all been waiting for 90 now since we pre-ordered it from the Volume 2 catalog in 2020. So we're like a year and a half, almost 2 years down the road from when we're going to actually get that engine. Moving on, we've got more ES44 AECs. These aren't heritage units, but they have some big major road names here. And these look fantastic. And they've given you a lot of options. If you don't necessarily need a power unit, you can get that price cut and just pick up the Super Bass to get that extra sound quality and effect and feel on your layout. So definitely worth considering those. I think there's been a huge surge in popularity lately with Conrail, so I think you'll see a lot of people picking that one up for pre-order. And I do think some of these other ones are going to definitely get pre-ordered a bunch, but Conrail will probably be the first and foremost. But I think you'll see a lot of people pick up a Chicago Northwestern. I think it's just a popular one, especially from people in that greater area. And I think you'll see a lot of people pick up the Kansas City Southern units as well. Again, it's popular from the area that they're in, so you'll have folks ordering there as well. So again, I think the diesels are starting to get to a bit too pricey a range, considering that like they have less complication than the steam engines and all that. These do have a kinematic pilot, so I am definitely curious to see what that looks like and like how that goes for when they do drop. It hopefully will look really good and operate smoothly, so that'll be neat to see. But yeah, I have a hard time wrapping my head around like expensive diesels. They feel a lot less complicated and there's a lot less to them. Just in general, right? Like I know they all have like smoke units now, etc. But it always just feels like I'm getting a lot, and I'm not sure. I'm paying a lot, and I'm not sure if I'm getting the amount. I'm not sure if I'm getting that much or as much as I feel like I should be paying when I pay that much. So I always struggle with that when it comes to diesels. And I'm more of a steam and electric person. So yeah. Okay. So these are switchers. Again, lots of road names. These look great. Again, if you have a smaller layout, these are fantastic. You will want to run them there. They're good for folks who've got smaller layouts. I still, again, for a small switcher like this, for 600, I still think this is a lot. And maybe I'm just, still behind on the times in terms of like what I think is a good price point for an engine this size with the features. But for me, I just think that 600 is a tad too much for that. But that said, I know people pick them up. I've heard they're great runners. And they do each have a little bit of different style to them, right? Like the Great Northern doesn't look exactly the same as like the Chesapeake in Ohio. And I would love to pick up one of these switchers at some point. I don't know though if like, yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me too because I my current layout and what I love to run, I like to run larger steam engines and electric engines. So I just don't see myself necessarily running these smaller switcher engines too regularly. Going on, we've got the GP20. Again, I've been hearing a lot out there on social media and elsewhere of people clamoring for these engines. So I think this is just another example of Lionel showing that they are paying attention to what is being said out there and what people are interested in. I think they said this is all new product as well, so it's new tooling, as you can see here in the features. And the nice thing about these new, about the GP20 diesels is they are smaller engines. So again, they're gonna work on 031 curves. They'll fit those smaller layouts that folks have where they still care about running scale trains, but don't have the room for like 054 or larger curves. So this is great for those folks. And I don't think we're getting any type of sort of super bass with any of these. It just looks like you're going to have the one unit. There's the one unit, and some of them there's going to be two road numbers. So there's that, and the R650. Now again, I guess that's where that's sort of shocking to me, right? Like these are smaller diesels for sure compared to the ES44 ACs. And I guess that makes sense, right? Like they're $100 less, but I know I personally just struggle with figuring out like, do I feel like the diesels are worth it for me? Well, that's a me thing, and I know a lot of people enjoy the diesels, and I do think they look and sound amazing when people have got them on their layout. So certainly no dislike towards them. For me, I just struggle with that. The Lehigh Valley Camelback set. This looks great. Definitely, I haven't done the math to see if this is better. Let me see something real quick. It doesn't have it. I don't know the math on the three copper cars here, along with the boxcar and the caboose. Let's see, the boxcar is just a regular boxcar, and the caboose is also just a regular bobber caboose. So I'll have to do the math. $1,100 for the set. If you are looking to dive in and pick up like a legacy set, this is a good value one. It's also like, I think really an ideal size. Again, this will look great on a small layout where you want to run scale trains, and you've got the Camelback, which are great engines, and you've got the Whistle Steam as well now with it. So this will be a fun train to run. Definitely a lot of fun. And if I like getting, honestly, I like getting sets. I think that it makes it easy in the sense of like, okay, here's my engine, here's the cars I'm gonna run with it, and I'm not like worrying like, oh, should I run this, should I run that, etc. That's part of why I like sets. And it's also great for like, you know, just like, what do I run with it, or what should I pull? Like, puts all that thinking to the back burner, just get the set, run the trains, have fun. So, all right. After that, we've got the Union Railroad Hot Metal Legacy train set. This is real new to me. This looks awesome, honestly. I think that this is going to be a amazing set, and I'm actually pretty excited about this. This is definitely one of those sets that I may not have actually seriously considered before, but the more I look at it, the more I am interested in it. It's got the Legacy diesel, obviously with a fixed pilot, which is again, like from a scale modeling perspective, a big thing. That's not the norm. Excuse me. You've got the gondolas feature diecast trucks, but they also the hot metal cars. The hot metal cars actually feature a glowing hot load. So up here at the top, right where you see the opening, I guess it's going to be LEDs, and they're going to like, you know, glow, or they'll like move in and out in terms of intensity as the cars roll. So that's pretty awesome. I think that'll look and sound great. And then you've also got a Legacy, and then you've got the caboose. So yeah, I mean, I think these metal cars are going to look great with the gondolas. Definitely a set I'm interested in. I don't know if like necessarily if I want the switcher engine, but I do want I've been looking at hot metal cars for a while now, because I would like to put together a train for that. And the fact that these have like the glowing load and all of that, I think that's going to be pretty cool. So I would love to see that. And I hope Lionel does rerun them in some form in future catalogs, because that'll be really neat to see. And I won't be surprised if they find a way to put the Vision Line sounds, you know, give them the Vision Line treatment in terms of putting sounds into one of the, like a 3-pack of these cars. So we'll get the glowing load, and then one of the cars will also have the sounds with it. So definitely expecting to see that. So then we have the Iron Hippo Legacy set. I mean, this is a fantastic set. You've got the whistle steam, the Iron Hippo, and you've got the hoppers and the caboose. And the set includes the Legacy I-1 Decapod, 6 of the hoppers, and a Vision cabin car. Now, you can get the set for, where is the price for that? For $2,300. So the engine's what? I think the engine was $1,500 or something like that for this engine. And then if you look down here, you can see that the Vision cab car for the caboose itself is $3,000. So $1,800 plus a 2-pack is of the coppers is $200. So you're looking at $600 for the for 6 of these. So $2,400. So with this set, you are getting a discount, right? You're getting $100 off if you were in as opposed to buying it a la carte, which is nice. And of course, pre-ordering, you're gonna get that further discount. So if you're looking to put together a Pennsylvania like coal train in a hurry, like this would be a great one. I think the Iron Hippo or the I-1 looks are beautiful, and have a robustness and difference to them that you don't see with all the other steam engines. I mean, you can just look here at the front and you see that it doesn't look like a lot of other steam engines. So to me, that's huge. I will bring up the one thing about this though, is like, if you, let's say you wanted this caboose, but you didn't care for the Vision Line sounds or the Vision Line treatment in it, this is another one of those like, well, tough, you have to get the Vision Line or you get nothing. I think that's a bummer, because $300 for a caboose is a lot, no matter how you shake it. And this is a caboose that, without the Vision Line sounds, you know, you could get for 100 or so at this point, or 110, I guess, is what it might run. And, you know, for someone, again, who's working on a tighter budget but would like this train, you only have one option. It's the Vision Line caboose. Or if you can find an older version of the caboose, because I think this was MTH tooling. If you can find that older version, you can get it for obviously probably less than 100, a much more affordable price. But that said, like that's my one gripe here is make the Premiere or like the extra effects version, and then make a simpler version. And by simpler, I mean, just like without all the extra effects, that's at a more affordable price for folks who don't have the budget for the Vision line. I think that would be a very sort of welcoming and compromising solution for the folks who, the two groups of folks, right, who do scale railroad, who want scale models, the ones who have the budget and the ones who have a tighter budget. So anyway, looks good. And then we move on. We've got Lionel, a couple more sets. I will give Lionel this. They have done a lot of sets in this catalog. And like I said earlier, I'm a big fan of sets. I think it's great from a standpoint of like, you don't know what to get. Like it makes it easy to decide. And you get some better value when you're buying a set in general. So I think that's fantastic. You've got the Independence set here, the Rock. You get the E8, I think it is, right? And then you've got two 21-inch coaches. The E8 features all the legacy features we saw earlier. And the passenger cars, they're the standard like 21-inch passenger cars that we saw earlier with both the Dreyfuss Hudson and the Union Pacific Excursion. And then we've got the Santa Fe Fruit Express Legacy set. Again, this is another one where it's like they've got the Vision Reefer cars, which these Vision Reefer cars, I do think they are beautiful. And that might be what sways me into getting a set of them. It's not so much that I need the Vision line sounds, it's that I think the cars just look great. So that's the, I may have to splurge for those. And this doesn't come with the Vision line caboose. And that caboose will, again, it's all gonna sound great. It's going to make for a beautiful train. And you'll love it on your layout, for sure. That set's gonna run you and set you back $2,500. Now, I think those engines were running $1,800 if I recall, and the Vision line car set is, the 3-packs are $500. So you're putting at $2,300, and then Vision line cabooses, we just saw those on the other page, they were $300. So again, you're looking at like around $100 off. That usually seems to be the norm with the Lionel sets, is they are $100 off of the a la carte if you were to pick it up. So this I'm sure this will be a popular set, and definitely for folks who were considering some Vision line cars along with the Northerns, this will probably be what people pick up. I would imagine that instead of just picking up the Northern, they'll probably pick this setup just because of the value behind it. So yeah, very cool. I think this is gonna be, like I said, this catalog has so much in it. It's mind-boggling, honestly. It really is. There's just a ton to go through here. There's a ton for everyone who is interested in model trains. So, all right, so that said, next up now we're into the rolling stock, right? So this is the O-scale legacy, I don't think they call it legacy, but the O-scale rolling stock. So I'll go through this pretty quickly. Unless there's something that really stands out. They say this is all new product. So I'm not sure what that necessarily means to them. Like I don't see new tooling per se anywhere under the features. So it could mean that like I don't know if this is necessarily tooling from MTH that they bought, or if it's just new tooling or they've made changes from existing tooling, and so that's why they're calling it all new product. The flat cars the 50-foot flat cars look great with the trailers. If you're looking to pick one of the, or pick up some of these, they'll look great on your layout. They are 160. I always start to struggle when I have a single rolling stock car, unless it's like one of those extraordinarily large or complicated ones. When they start to reach the 100 price point, or like over 110, I really start to look at it like, okay, like what am I getting? What's special about this? Why am I paying this price? I think 160 is a lot for these, especially like, MTH has recently put out a bunch of trailer cars for not, that look really quite well. I mean, I haven't seen one in person, but you're not paying 160 for it. So definitely curious about like why these are 160. I would love to know like what's got them up there for that. If someone in the comments can enlighten me as to like why they should be 160, please do. I would love to know like what I'm missing about these. The gondolas, again, these are great looking gondolas, but they're gondolas, and for 120, I'm not sure why a gondola with no load is 120. They're good looking gondolas, I'm sure they run great and everything, but I don't know, that's just me. But they look great, different road names. So, and again, we've got Conrail, so I'm sure a lot of people are gonna pick up the Conrail one and pick up at least a few of them, so that they can really have that consist going in their train. I guess folks will probably pick up 2, right? Because you've got the 2 road numbers if you want to be prototypical. If you're not too worried about being prototypical, then yeah, you can just pick up however many you feel like and go from there. Next up, we've got the green door boxcars. And these have opening side doors. They got wood grain doors and molded green load. So, you know, when you open them up, you're going to see the actual green load in there. I think that's pretty cool. These are, again, they're boxcars. They look great. We've got a lot of major road names, Chicago, Northwestern, Texas and Pacific, the SO line. I do appreciate them offering a lot of different lines when they put these freight cars out there. It gives everyone, you know, it gives a lot of folks options, and puts a bit of something out there for everyone. And I will say this, I think what I notice when I'm going through the freight cars here so far is that, so for example, you know, I've got Chicago, Northwestern, and SO line over here, but I don't have Chicago and Northwestern here as well with the gondolas. So if you're someone who's really focused on Chicago and Northwestern, you're not like, all right, crap, they put in trailers and gondolas and the boxcars, and I want the Chicago Northwestern for all of that. It's like, all right, great. Like I only have to pick up Chicago Northwestern boxcars from this catalog. Hopefully next catalog they'll offer me, you know, some other freight card for Chicago Northwestern. So I think that's great. It helps put less strain on people's wallets all at once, especially because again, you know, these boxcars are 110 bucks. I guess like the new norm for freight cars, even like boxcars like this, not like the super large ones, is going to be, we're looking at just like the $100 mark as the minimum price per car, which that's a tough pill for me to swallow, especially with Atlas and MTH out there still putting out fantastic looking rolling stock that is sub 100. I don't know. That for me, it's a tough pill to swallow. For others, I'm sure it's whatever. But yeah, it just, again, it puts all the more emphasis on you really should, you're really gonna want to pre-order. That's it, right? You're really gonna want to pre-order. So here are the cabooses. Now, I was talking earlier about like, well, hey, if you want the caboose, but you don't want the Vision Line features and all that, you know, it would be great if Lionel offered it. So they are offering it, so I will, you know, eat my words there. They've got it here for $150. So again, you can get the caboose for half the price without the Vision Line features. I guess that's how they're marking it, is if we put Vision Line features in the same caboose, it's $150 more for that. So I guess that's sort of like to give you an idea. It's like, okay, well, so Vision Line features are worth $150, roughly speaking, in a single piece of rolling stock like this. That's how I see it. I still think 150. Again, I just feel like rolling stock is getting a little bit too pricey here with some of Lionel's stuff, but it looks great, and I know plenty of people will pick it up. And I know I will probably pick up at least 1 or 2 things for rolling stock and will be guilty of it. So, but I'll be pre-ordering it, so I will definitely not be paying like the full MSRP. So that's the nice thing to keep in mind. Again, we got a Conrail caboose here, so like clearly there's a hint here. They've been listening that people want Conrail, so there's going to be a lot of Conrail coming out for folks. Then we get into the different hopper packs. You've got the more modern ones and you've got the more vintage ones. these look great, but they are, and you know, the, whatchamacallit, these ones over here on the left, the GLA hoppers, they are 200 a pack, so 100 per car. And over here, we've got a Milwaukee scale roll. Okay, so there's two different things over here. So let me take that back. Okay, so the hoppers over here are 310 a pack for 4-pack. Okay, so it's 310 for a 4-pack over here. So that's actually pretty good, right? A 310 for a 4-pack. That gets you down below the 100 mark for a single car. Puts you at around 75, especially once you are pre-ordering. So that's fantastic, actually. That's really nice to see. And the Milwaukee Road scale milk car. Diecast trucks, operating compers, easy conversion to scale wheels. Oh, that's really nice. I mean, I'm a Milwaukee Road fan, so like this is a cool car to see. I'm happy and excited to see this. And at just in at 100, like that's great. I'm excited to see this. This looks nice. That will probably be one of the few rolling stock cars that I'm going to seriously consider and be interested in. So looking forward to that. Then you've got the standard O center beam flat cars. These look good. I do like these. And these are actually, okay, so these are a lot less in terms of pricing than we've been seeing with some of the other cars. You're looking at, like for Milwaukee Road and for these other ones, you're looking at like $65. Milwaukee Road's only $50. That's interesting. I wonder if, Trailer Train is $50, Union Pacific $50. Huh. All right, someone's got to enlighten me in the comments. Why the price difference here? Why 65 for Burlington Northern and then 50 for these ones? These ones all say they're a new product and it doesn't have the tag here for that. Is that why? But if it's it's the same features. It doesn't say there's any different features. So for a new product, they're charging you 65, but it's the same car as over here, and so it's $15 more. That's bizarre. I'm sorry. I don't know. Someone's got to tell me what I'm missing there. Like, I understand it's a new product, but like, wouldn't it just be the same? Like, I know they need to recoup costs, but again, okay, I don't know. That's interesting. It's really fascinating to me. I would love to know why that's the case. This is definitely one of those ones where, like, if you get one though, like, it's going to look a little bit out of place if you try to build a somewhat prototypical concept. So you're probably going to want to pick up at least two. And clearly, like, they have given you, for example, with like Milwaukee and Union Pacific and Western Pacific here, they've given you 4 road numbers. So if you want to look like as prototypical as possible, you want to pick up 4 to at least give like that added realism. Which, you know what, like at $50 a pop, that's a good deal. That's not, and if you pre-order, it's going to be even less than 50 for that. So that's really good. Then you've got your standard 50 box cars, and again, these are okay. So it looks like some of the new, I guess the new tooling up front. You know, maybe they got to recoup their costs or something, or the molds were really more expensive or something. I don't know. But okay. So, you know, and then we've got a lot more of their standard freight here, right? Like you got box cars, bulkhead flat cars, assorted other types of cars here, a gondola with coil covers. And a lot of these cars, you know, they're all looking at like $50 a pop roughly for all of these. So that looks good. A lot of options out there for people who are looking to build a concept. And, you know, lots of big road names, etc. So, and lots of road numbers for each of these so that you can get more than one if you really, like, if you're very focused on like, oh, I can't have more than one number because I really want to be prototypical. I don't pay that close attention to the detail, especially because like you got to remember when you're standing there watching the train running on the table, I personally do not look or can see the numbers like running there, so it's not an issue for me. But yeah, so that's the end of the scale O, and this takes us into the next section of the catalog. So if you know that was the first hour here, thank you for hanging in there. I think this next part of the catalog is important to cover. This is, like I was saying at the start here, Lionel has realized that there are a lot of target demographics to model trains, and while I'm sure there are a lot of folks who are going to be watching this video and, you know, it's like, oh, you know, all I care about is legacy and scale. Well, remember, a lot of us all started with not scale, you know, much simpler trains when we were younger, and part of why we're into the hobby now as adults is because of those sets that Lionel and others put out for kids. So these are great, and I will run through these. I won't spend too much time on them, but yeah, we'll run through it and try and cover it in a time efficient manner. So these are the Lion Chief Plus or Lion Chief 2.0 sets. These days, I guess, what do they call it? Like I guess it's really just Lion Chief Plus 2.0 is really what all of it is. So yeah, here's the different systems. I guess Lion Chief was what it was, and now Lion Chief Plus 2.0 is where we're at. I think some of the stuff might be still like Lion Chief Plus, and some of it's Lion Chief Plus 2.0. We'll see as we're going through. I kind of wish they would just simplify all this and go with, everything's Lion Chief Plus 2.0 at this point. I'm not sure if there's that much of a difference in terms of like what the internals look like, but yeah, we'll see. Okay, so we've got the Mikados. These are great little engines. I've got the electrocoupler. Again, they said it's a new product, but these are great looking little engines. Fan-driven smoke, they'll pump up a ton of smoke, and they'll look great. Again, these operate on smaller curves, so great for the folks who are looking for that. And these are Lion Chief Plus 2.0, and they are coming in at is that 700? Yeah, 700 for a steam engine. So 700 for steam engine is, especially in this day and age, I think with like the detail and the features that you're seeing here is a good point. We've got the 060Ts again. These I think were, again, like when they first came out back in 2020, I think it was, were a bit of a sleeper. Like they were not expecting them to be so well received. But these are just, they're die cast, they're heavy little steam engines that can really pull a lot, and they sound great, they look great, and even though they are Lion Chief engines, they are actually to scale. So that is something important to keep in mind, is that not all Lion Chief engines are necessarily smaller, that some of them are still to scale. Now, I couldn't tell you like for sure each one, whether it is or isn't. I just happen to know that this one is. And yeah, so, and this also like has electrocouplers in the front and the rear for what it's worth, which is nice, right? Because it's a switcher. So it should, it makes it easier for if you want to like really use it to move cars. If you've got a yard on your layout where you've got cars stored and you want to use this to pull, in and out certain cars, it can do that job real well. So really looking forward. I actually have one of these pre-ordered from a previous catalog, so I'm really looking forward to this and it showing up. Now I think these are only $350. I think they might have gone up about $50 since the first 2020 catalog. I'd have to look. But again, for like everything that's packed into these little engines these days, that's a really good price point, I think, for these. So definitely, if you have a small layout and you like steam engines, especially smaller steam engines, this is one that you should pick up. Don't miss on this. Fortunately, this has been in a few catalogs now, so I do think we're going to, it will be available if you don't pre-order it, obviously. But yeah, definitely worth it. Bud cars. So there's been a lot of talk about, people wanting to see some Subway cars. So it looks like we are finally getting, the Bud cars back here. They do say it's new tooling. And let's see, diecast trucks, pilot and fuel tank, metal frame. These look really good. I think these are nice. I do like Subways, honestly, but I'm not sure if like the layout I'm about to completely redo my layout in a few months, because I'll be changing there'll be some major structural changes with the room that it's in. There may be a spot for like doing sort of like a Subway scene, or like a raised track for a Subway in the future. But yeah, I don't know. But the Bud cars are cool. And what are they? They're, for the 2-pack, it's $600, and for the singles, it's $400 a piece. And okay, so for the combo, it's powered and non-powered, and for the single, it's obviously powered. Okay, so interesting. Definitely interesting. I definitely would love to hear in the comments whether people are going to pick, if you're interested in these Bud cars. I know a lot of people have been clamoring for them for a while now, so now that they're here, are you going to get them? And what road name, and like what are you excited about with them? Rail sounds equipped, gasoline engine and background sounds, Lionel voice control, fan driven smoke. Yeah, I mean these look good, and again they'll operate on smaller layouts, so awesome stuff there. Then you've got the ET44AC and the GP20s over here in the line chief side. And again, switchers here that are for the NW-2, so very similar to the switchers that we saw earlier, and the EC44ACs. So as you can see, this is what I am happy to see, is Lionel does understand that there are folks with smaller budgets and smaller layouts who can't afford or don't have the physical space to run the larger engines on the legacy side. And that's where the product lines like Line Chief are great. They give those folks who still want to do model railroading the option with a lot of different road names, right? You can see Kansas City Southern here. You've got like Great Northern and some of the same road names that you saw earlier in the catalog in the legacy section, but at a much lower price for these engines, and they can handle the 031 curves. So these will be able to handle those small layouts that that a lot of people are on, which is absolutely fine, right? Like it's not easy to necessarily fit 060, let alone 072 curves into a room, and if it can be limiting in terms of layout design if you go with those larger curves, and if you're someone who wants to have the smaller curves and a more intricate layout, you may not want to go with 072. You may want to have like these smaller curves, and that's what's nice about the Line Chief line, is it gives you those options. And I think the pricing here, again, I don't understand why the switchers are quite so expensive here, considering like it is Line Chief and everything. But I don't know, maybe I'm missing something. Like, what am I missing? I don't know. Anyway, I think these are still like, it's a lower price and it's a good price point for someone who's interested in getting into to model routing or who has a smaller layout. Now we get into the licensed product. This is some big stuff here, right? It's Disney's 100, and so yeah, like this is, if you've been following Lionel and Disney have long had a partnership. Lionel has produced product with Disney for decades. Literally, one of the first things was a handcar, which we actually are going to see a reproduction of that here. So that'll be really cool. So here's the Disney 100 set. Ready to run set, everything to go, and it is, what is the price point for this? And $529, which is around where these sets are going these days. It comes with the track, it comes with the remote to run, it comes with the power pack, it comes ready to go out of the box. And these are pretty nice sets. I've seen them before, like for other things. And the thing that everyone has to remember, right? Like this is how, in terms of marketing, right? And that funnel, that you get the younger generations in, and then maybe you don't necessarily stick with it forever. They go off to school or whatever, an apartment, they don't have the space or the money initially. But then you get older and you're like, oh, like I have my space, or I have the money and or space now, and I want to get back into model trains. I missed it. I played with them when I was younger, and so that's the strategy there, right? And using Disney is a fantastic one. Look at how ever present Disney is, right? With like all the different franchises and movies and everything else that they do. So this looks great. You've got the illuminated boxcar. That looks pretty cool there. You can do the personalized boxcar as well if you want. I'm sure there'll be plenty of folks who would like to do that. And yeah, no, this is a cool looking set. Definitely will be fun for a lot of people. And this is what the kids love too, right? Like the kids love to see something that they can relate to. And for a lot of younger kids, Disney and these other like licensed products that we'll be seeing here is what they can relate to. what I am actually pretty excited to see is that I like the old looking Disney characters and animate like artwork on these boxcars, so these are pretty cool. I may actually pick up one or two of these because obviously I wasn't a kid when these were first these cartoons were first produced, but I definitely watched plenty of them still when growing up. So these are pretty cool. Definitely need to see. And you know, I've got the theater, the Steamboat Willie Theater here. So very, very cool there. All right. So here you can see it, right? Here's the celebrating Disney's 100 Years of Wonder. This is the 1934 1100 Mickey Mouse handcar. So, you know, this was this same handcar, not same, but they looked exactly like this. It was first made in 1934 with Disney. As you can see up there. So it's an all-metal handcar. You know, it's just going to be conventional with a dinging bell, etc. It is 200. There's apparently 5 limited color variations. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I mean, this will be cool. Definitely for fans who like love that old-timey feel, etc. This is definitely a must pick, and I'm sure like people who are huge Disney fans as well. They will be seeing these things, and this will be a big year for people picking up Lionel products that are tied to Disney because of the 100-year history and all that. I guarantee you, Disney will be advertising the ever-living bananas out of this stuff. Absolutely. So. Okay, and then, you know, again, more Disney products, the different lines that they have here. So you've got Toy Story now. Again, like this is how you get kids, right? This is the marketing, and this is what kids want to play with, right? They want to play with the fun trains that they can relate to from the TV shows and the movies that they watch. And then as they get older, you know, they may be more interested in the prototypical stuff and all that. But for when they're young, you know, these trains and these cars are exactly what they want. And for those of us who grew up watching Toy Story, etc., I mean, it absolutely tugs on the heartstrings, and I'm sure plenty of us will order, you know, like the box car or something like that, because why not, right? And then you've got Frozen. And as you can see, this set's $450. The Toy Story set is $450. So I think like $450 is around like the normal price we're gonna see. You've got Willy Wonka here. Ah man, like the Willy Wonka set. Oof, that's there's gonna be some fun memes and stuff for that as well. And this one's also $450. And then you got the separate cars, etc. So I think these separate cars will be pretty cool. The Willy Wonka packaging facility. I bet that's fun to play with. Love to see how that runs. So yeah, and then we've got Thomas, which is great to see them putting out some redoing the Thomas sets. I think they've been sort of hard to find lately, and these are tons of fun, right? You know, they got the cars and everything. They run great. They sound fun too. You know, they got the lines from the Thomas the Tank Engine trains and all that. I picked up one of the older Lion Chief ones, James, for my son, and he absolutely loves it. So I'm sure he'll have plenty of fun with that for years to come. And then you've got John Deere. John Deere has a huge popularity. I mean, it's one of those things where like people who are not normally trained folks will still pick up a train set because John Deere. It's very popular. And that's really all there is to it. And this set likewise is $450. And then you've got like some of the other extra cars that you can pick up separately if you want to. And they do actually have like a no-skill trailer car, like we saw earlier, right? So you know, you've got they are offering like the full-scale trailer car like that. So that's pretty cool. Definitely need to see that there. Oops. And then Harry Potter. Oof, whoa. All right, well, the Harry Potter set. So, you know, you've got the Harry Potter set with the Lion Chief Plus. Or this is just Lion Chief. Okay, so this is not Lion Chief Plus 2.0. Interesting. It's just interesting to see like why they do this as only Lion Chief. But they've got the different house coaches this time. So that's huge. And they did one for each house. So definitely I can see a lot of people picking this up, especially folks who are Harry Potter's fans. So this is really cool. If you like Harry Potter, I'm sure you will be picking up these coaches. It's nice to see them add those in. I'm sure people have a blast with that. And then we get into the Halloween set. I love Halloween. It's definitely one of my favorite holidays. And I did pick up a couple boxcars this past year. I enjoy the holiday engines and cars. I'm always really sort of stuck for like which I want, when it looks at like Halloween, Christmas, just because what I know what I'll wind up doing is I'll pull it out and I'll run it for the holiday and then I'll put it away. So, how much of it for Halloween / Christmas specifically do I want? Because I know I'm not going to be running it year round. But that said, some awesome stuff here. The set looks great, and these are fun to see, and all the spookiness and everything that comes with it. So, and the extra sounds that they do with the sets. I don't know if anyone has seen or heard like the whistles that come with the Halloween engines, but Lionel did a legacy Camelback for Halloween, and one of the whistles was a werewolf howl. So that was fantastic. So it's fun stuff. It's definitely a good time. And then you've got the, what is this, a Mikado? Yeah, you've got a Halloween Lion Chief Mikado, so that's cool. You got a Spooky Sounds boxcar, that sounds like fun. You got the Dracula Tonic Blood tank car, that'll be awesome. Oh boy, you've got some horror cards. You got Pennywise and a balloon that go up and down. My goodness. Well, if that's the Exorcist, if that's your shtick, you'll love this. These are great. If you got a friend who loves these, this makes for a great gift. I'm sure they would enjoy that. If they're a fan of it and all that. Again, another Halloween set. More of the cars, etc. that you see here. I've seen the Dracula and the Mummy set. With them running around the car. Those are a ton of fun to watch. And then more Halloween products. These products are great. It's good to see. They're fun to see. I love the holiday products. They're neat. Wow, this is a NASA set. Okay, whoosh. All right, that's cool. They have a whole space rocket launch system too. That's neat. Cool. Yeah, these right, these are the Lionel partnering or licensing with these other brands. This is part of what gets folks into it. Not everyone's necessarily 100% a big train fan, but they love NASA, they love space. Space Webb, the James Webb telescope boxcars, these are pretty looking. Those are nice. Those are really nice. Oh, and the rocket launch pad has a real sequence and everything, and does lighting and smoke. Wow. Okay. Okay, it's 4:30. Yeah. All right. It's gonna be a legit rocket launch pad. I would love to see that. I don't have space on my layout for that, but for those who do, I'm looking forward to seeing it on their layout. Area 51, very cool. Oh, and they've got an O-scale hot metal car. Okay, with a glowing nuclear waste load. Very nice. Okay, very cool. And they've got that priced at $200 for a single car. Interesting. Okay, so that gives you an idea of what one of these cars would cost alone. Because we saw them earlier in that set, but the question then was, okay, how does Lionel view these in terms of price? So there's that. Budweiser, yep, and again, more partnering that they do, so that's cool. A bunch of different box cars with some of the different iconography that Budweiser has had over the years. That's neat, very neat. Cool. And then you've got the Lion Chief consolidation set, just a small freight set. And what are these running these days? They're at okay, $450. Okay, yeah. So earlier, right? These sets these days, I think the norm to just expect is the $450. This is also a Lion Chief 5.0 set, and this one is the Gold Mountain set, and this is $470. Okay. So, you know, around, again, still very similar to everything else. These are nice, very nice. And then you got the Texas Special, and that, you know, Texas Special is a very popular set. I know a lot of people want it. I think in the Legacy version. So I would not be surprised if we see a Legacy Texas Special set in the next year or two, or if not even in the next catalog. We probably won't see it in the next catalog just because we're getting a Lion Chief set of it in this one. But I would definitely be expecting that in the next year or two. And a lot of people have been clamoring for that. It's a very popular set and that people have missed out on. And then I'm gonna jump through the last few things here. You know, as you can see, there's a few more sets. There's like the Great Locomotive Chase set, which is very cool. These 2 engines for 600. You know, these are pretty cool. Like you got a lot of different sets here, and they're there for like all the different demographics for the kids, etc. It really gives the kids, like, are you interested in like the freight set? Like, are you really interested in the trains, or do you want like, you know, Toy Story, Disney, etc.? Great stuff out there. Really thrilled to see Lionel putting out a lot of different product. Obviously, plenty of it's built to order, so we'll see what winds up actually getting built here. But I figure, you know, we'll just pop through the catalog here so people can see. Right here's like the Army Freight set. I know that's a huge one for little kids and younger kids, and even adults, right? Like, there's plenty of adults who've got, they've got like the military trains, right? Like the flat cars with the tanks and everything else. And then we've got some more, okay, so like these are just the Lion Chief engines, okay, because they don't have like as much detail and the full like electro couplers like the Lion Chief 2.0 Plus or whatever it was. So okay. These are cool, and these come with remotes as well. The 40, these are nice, 44 tires. So this is right. This is how, like, if you got a smaller budget, or if you're like looking for something for like a kid, you can get these engines. They come with the remote. They're ready to run. Basically, you just got to put them on the track and go. And those work well, and they're a lot of fun. And then you've got Justice League. Wow, that's new. And Looney Tunes. Looney Tunes. Oh no, I better stay away from this. The Looney Tunes. I love Looney Tunes. I'll definitely have to look at these boxcars in greater detail. But yeah, oh, that's neat. And you got Pixar. Okay. Oh, and there's Angela Trotta-Thomas. Oh gosh, yeah, I had heard about this. So this is if you don't know Angela Trotta-Thomas, she is famous for doing a lot of Lionel's artwork. So definitely look her up. And as you can see, like, here are some examples of her artwork across various boxcars. Definitely will be coming back to look at some of these boxcars and may have to consider some of those. And Lionel really did a lot of partnering in this catalog. He did a lot out there. Chevrolet, Ford, Molson Coors. Okay, wow. My goodness. Yeah, so Lionel really went out there and did a lot of partnering. This is a massive catalog. They really did go and look for, put a bit of everything in there for folks. These Wings of Angels cars are cool. You know, this is neat. Wow. Battlefield Honor. Yeah, I mean, so like, that's the thing, right? There's a ton in this catalog. There's a lot of rolling stock to take into consideration. There's a lot. Like, I know I keep saying that, but there's so much in here. It's definitely going to be a difficult catalog for folks to pick from. Oh, and they hid oh my goodness, they hid Legacy ES or E8s in the back here. Oh, good Lord. All right, let's see. Oh, and they have Polar Express, but I should have known. Should have known. Polar Express Bud cars. Oh, and they do have a Polar Express hot chocolate thermos car. Oh my goodness. I mean, at this point, I shouldn't be surprised, right? Polar Express for everything. Gotta do it. Why not? Gotta get that Polar Express in there. I'm sure plenty of people are gonna get this scale Polar Express hot chocolate thermos car. Like, absolutely. Guarantee you that. And the Bud cars as well. But I also don't blame them, right? Like, why not get the... Oh, and they have new Polar Express Ice Track. Includes Icy Lake fold-out map. Okay. I see what you did there, Lionel. Well played. Well played. Okay, so these are line check. These are gonna be cool. I mean, it makes sense, right? Like the Polar Express product line has been selling like hotcakes, and that's not going to let up anytime soon. So like anytime they can make a Polar Express version of something, I think they will. I'm sure you will see a ton of people be ordering the Polar Express Bud cars and the hot thermos or hot chocolate thermos car. Like those are just going to be, they're scale cars and people are gonna love them because of Polar Express, which I don't blame them. That'll be what they do. So that's cool. More of just a ton of Polar Express rolling stock in here. So definitely a lot there for folks who want to build up their collection. And of course, I see them continuing to expand like the scenery and all that. You can really build a full winter Polar Express layout these days. It's really something. Oh, and they have a Legacy Camelback in like Christmas scheme. Oh my goodness. And a 3-pack rolling stock cars. Whew, okay. On another hot chocolate thermos car. But of course, and okay. Well, all right, so there's gonna be a lot there. There's a lot of North Pole cars. This will be a very popular Legacy train set as well this year. So yeah, all right. So that's that. I mean, and you got like the winter train sets as well in here. That's a lot. Wow, this catalog is absolutely massive. I think that, that's that. I mean, I think that's the catalog. Really, I'm gonna stop there. I think that there's accessories and more buildings, etc. in the back here. But that said, we're approaching an hour and a half here on this video. So yeah, thank you for sticking it out there, and be sure to drop what you're planning to get in the comments. What are your thoughts about the pricing and the product? Definitely would love to hear what other people are thinking about this catalog. It is simply massive. I am a little worried when Lionel did. I mean, it was such a massive catalog. There's bound to be more than you. There's bound to be a ton that folks want, and too much to order in one go. So I do hope some of it's going to stick around into future catalogs so that people have, this is not a one and done in term opportunity for some of the stuff. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and be sure to tune in next time. Thank you.